call the meeting of March 2nd, 2026 of the Miami Township Board of Trustees to order. First, agenda approval. I unfortunately have to add something to the agenda, and I'm going to add it under cemetery report, and I'm just going to call it cemetery discussion. I just need a little bit of information from my fellow trustees so that I can do some work that I'm getting ready for going on appropriations. So I would make a motion to add cemetery discussion to under cemetery report.
Second, did you entertain it or did you make the
I
motion?
made the motion.
Okay,
Just went ahead and did
I
it.
will second the motion. Okay.
Been moved and seconded to add trustee Moore's request for a cemetery discussion
Keep it brief.
under the general cemetery report. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Aspen?
Yes.
Ms. Mosher?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Where's my cemetery?
Oh, did I-
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right.
And then, do we have to approve the rest of the agenda? Is that what we're doing now, approving the rest of the agenda or not?
Haven't gotten, we haven't really
I'm
done
not
a
that far.
redesign on the process, so.
I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of February 18th, 2026.
So moved.
Second?
And it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? I have one thing. Where does it say on here that we heard that we received our grant?
Under the road report.
Oh, Jesus, that's too sorry.
Yeah, the engineer grant.
So I didn't see any official word, that is in email or letter or anything. I was just wondering how you heard that, Chris?
Daniel?
Jacob Walker to
Jacob Walker shared them? How did you hear it?
He
They
told-
go announce it?
They told him, I guess, he told him.
So this is official, though we haven't said it. Email
I don't know, the
word?
county hadn't said it, maybe it's not, but he said it was. so.
Cool, well, I was thrilled to hear that, so we put it official. That's all I need, that's all I wanted, no other comments.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the minutes of February 18th, 2026 as presented. Mr. Mutcher?
Yes.
Ms. Aspen?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Minutes are adopted.
Did you technically abstain when you were not at the
It's
meeting?
not required.
Okay.
Payment of the bills, I don't know if this means see attached reports.
This is something that I talked about briefly last meeting. Gina and I have been working on which actual reports are more beneficial than the traditional listing of payment of bills, which was a best guesstimate and a weird time frame. You'll see that in your next to your packet, there's a list of several different reports for you to look at right now. What I'm hoping to get is, what we're looking for is some feedback as to which of them are actually helpful and you want to see on a regular basis.
So we have
So
the
there's no, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, the
Okay.
payment listing has all of them, and then you have your three regular reports that you always get, fund, revenue, and appropriation.
Yeah.
The payment listing and seeing the checks that you sign kind of does the work of that, how we used to do it with the bills to be paid section.
So the payment listing would take that place of that.
Yes,
And
the
then-
payment report essentially.
Would we have to let the people see it somehow? We'll figure that out.
I don't,
It's
yeah, I
certainly
don't know.
available.
It could be available, but if that works, and that was also a recommendation from the fiscal consultants. But there are various reports that we could have if you want more information, if you want, so we can just keep,
What lesson?
or less, if some people want less, yeah, so.
I think UAN can produce some 200 different reports. We're just working on that. So
Yes.
Gina and I worked on that for quite a bit.
So the thing we're voting on then tonight is the payment
You're
listing.
not really voting on anything. You've already, by signing the checks, you have already approved. That's my understanding.
Okay.
You're signing the checks, you're signing the,
It's not a required part of me, it's something that traditionally you've done, and if that's something you wanna continue to do, but I'd like to get a more accurate thing than what we were getting with the payment of bills, which is
Okay.
you're actually seeing the payment listing.
Okay, that's really, I like that. Okay, so we're not doing the motion to pay bills. And correspondence, I have three things. But I think two of them haven't been answered. I never heard a report back about the January 27th meeting that Chris and Dan went to. But they gave me a report here. It's all about dispatch and how it's changing or something. The billing's changing anyway. So I assume anything you found out there is here. And then there's another one. It's Spring Valley, I'll go to that. They want a trustee and a fire person, so we'll go to that tomorrow and Tuesday. I just want to let you guys know I had that. And I suppose I'll find out what it's about when I get there, besides the obvious. And then we were invited to,
It's on dispatch.
from Michelle Burns invited us to the Yellow Springs Creek, Little Miami watershed, something. And I don't think there's any problem with more than one of us going, since it's their deal.
Informational.
It's informational, but I'm definitely going, because we almost did this a year ago. They've already done one. It's basically a program in the EPA, and it's basically, the idea is if people take care of all the little watersheds, all the big watersheds get better. And so it'll be a stakeholder type thing where we got a map of what the Yellow Springs Creek watershed looks like, and it's part of the Little Miami watershed. And then you get all the stakeholders, and we get in big rooms and look at maps and identify sources like of erosion and pollution and, excess water. And then do an inventory, and then once you do that and turn that in, then your community that you've put together is eligible for grants to actually remediate the things you've identified. So
What is the date on that meeting?
that is Wednesday at 10 a.m. That would be Wednesday the 4th at 10 a.m.
4th of March.
4th of March, so it's 2 days from now. And it's at the Yellow Springs Community Foundation, so I'm excited about it. I'm definitely going. I don't see any reason why either one of you wanted to go, you couldn't.
I
Um,
can't,
Okay,
so I'm
cool.
glad you're going.
Okay, got it.
Did you say you had 3 things?
42. Yep, but the other two are taken care of.
Okay.
They're both about the dispatch. Any other correspondence that's coming that people? Okay. At this time, if citizens have any concerns that you'd like us to hear or put on a future agenda, you have up to 3 minutes to express them. Fred?
Just a comment, and that is payment of bills. It would be interesting to me as a member of the public to know an amount that you're paying this month or last month for bills that have occurred. Now, maybe I don't need to know that you paid Sally for overtime and Jeff had to have a desk repaired or something, but I might want to say, oh, you spent $100,000 in the last
2 weeks.
month or series. Now, maybe I'm not required to know that, and maybe you have a particular way you would want to present that's brief, but I'm just already missing that piece of information, which I don't know that I'm entitled to. I'm just commenting.
Okay,
It's a public record, so.
It isn't public if I don't see it.
Correct.
I think that's something that Tina and I are we're trying to find the most compact informational piece, and then that's something we are able to share. Right now, there's so many numbers.
And it makes sense, especially that you're used to, you see that number on the agenda every time, that was
I
something.
see that number. I don't necessarily have to see that particular one, and maybe I'm only commenting. I don't even know if I'm privy to that as a member of the public. But if I'm not able to see it, then I'm not privy.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point, thanks, Patty.
Fred, for your information, and I don't think this is in place yet, but there used to be a program called the Ohio Checkbook something or another, which the state is starting to reinstitute, and it's basically that it used to be voluntary, I believe it's going to be mandatory now, that we submit every single payment that we make, and probably every single dollar that we get in, to the state of Ohio to put onto a public register. And so at that time, you'll be able to bit bot Miami Township and see absolutely everything that's been paid.
So that'll be a digital public record.
That's correct.
It's not yet required
Yeah, we're not on that.
and not yet fully developed.
Correct.
Okay.
It's fully developed, just not for us.
If anybody wants
Well-
to see these, though, you have a perfect right to see anything on these documents, and so we could certainly make them available.
Yeah, I'm not trying to increase the load of what you have to present at the meeting. I'm just trying to not see things disappear, and you're explaining how it could be available.
And you may or may not have, you probably read the paper and know that Gina is leaving us on April 1st, resigning. Yeah, that's so we're rethinking a lot of things. Okay, any other citizen concern? Okay, fire department report. You wanna go ahead and then I'll do my thing after that?
Okay. I missed last week, so there's a lot of stuff on here. I'm just gonna highlight, I'm not gonna go over it all. Staffing wise, we're meeting our objective and our goals for having 3 personnel on duty 24/7. That has really paid off, especially in some of the recent fire calls that we've had. Having 3 people is a very, very good benefit. And the worst fire that we actually had 4 people on staffing that night, which really helped a lot, so. Our community paramedic is now out in the, making house calls. So about the middle of the month, she started making, her rounds. We've been out to visit 5 people so far. And it's, probably now after the little article in the paper today or whatever it was recently. She's off sick today because she was sick, but her phone was ringing off the hook, so maybe it's people wanting to get involved in the program. 150, well, at the time of printing, I had 150 runs to date. It's now up to 152. Significant events, we had a small fire in a house, North High Street on February 21st. We got that contained pretty quick. Building wise, we're moving forward with the final repairs on the fire alarm system. And we did get a second bid for the replacement of the smoke detectors. They're called multi-detectors because they're CO detectors, or smoke detectors, or heat detectors, and flame detectors. That's why they're so expensive. Our original bid was $8,000, but we now have a bid from Silco for $4,000. And I had to make sure that it was apples to apples here. So we're gonna move forward with that Silco bid for half the price. The $8,000 was bothering me, and there had to be a good reason why. And then when I talked to the Corson representative, he couldn't give me a good reason why, so. And Silco guarantees it's the right heads, and it's gonna put our system, back out of trouble mode. And Chris, I got you taken off that text message that you're probably getting every day.
Did you take Colin and Denny off it also?
Yeah,
Okay.
we got all the notifications straight, so. So down there, let's see here, I am gonna request to decommission Rescue 81.
Oh, you didn't, the Buckeye Power Sales generator evaluation.
Yeah. We're still waiting on them to get back to us. We're trying to sign an agreement, a preventative maintenance contract with them, and then I'll also have them come in and check that every Wednesday, check where we think we're getting a surge.
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
doesn't seem right, but, I don't know
My
whether,
concern is that the surge is
Yeah.
causing the fire alarm stuff, and
yeah,
and I
so,
was afraid it would cause whatever was going on.
so we put another call into them actually today and trying to get them to come out, and I'm hoping in the next week that we're gonna be able to get them out here and, meet with them and go over the system and get a contract signed with them to, be our, provider
So
or
there's-
caretaker for
There's
our
no chance
generator.
we're gonna get those, the smoke and the alarm system fixed and then have another surge. and
Yeah,
go out again.
I'm really hoping that that's not gonna be the case.
Okay,
Hopefully, we'll get Buckeye out here before that, so.
Now, I'll remind you, when I was going through our insurance thing this year, I saw, what was it, alarm systems or maybe even surges or something in our policy, so. If we could
Yeah,
get-
we gotta get that turned into the insurance,
Which part?
the surge. The $19,000 that we paid for the system
Oh,
when the surge hit.
yeah. What was the surge being caused by?
Huh?
What was the surge being caused by?
Lightning, of course.
Oh, we know that?
Huh?
Okay, of course, it was lightning, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was lightning. of course it was.
That's what I was told. Now, I don't know, I don't know if
But the generator
anything
is
else
also,
has to do with it, or
the generator
generators.
is also causing a surge. Are we still testing it every Wednesday?
Yes. We can't get in and reprogram it. So until we get them to come out here.
So should we unplug our computers until it's fixed?
No, it
Okay,
hasn't blown them up by now. I don't think it's going to. So,
It's just a power strip, it's a circuit protector.
okay, cool, we're good.
so there's some miscellaneous stuff on vehicles. Our Jaws of Life will be in the middle of April. Checked on that today. Website's now updated and online. And, we've got a committee that put the committee together to, talk about, new striping and, new logos on the vehicles. So, we have a committee out that they're surveying everybody, they're putting proposals together and doing a lot of good things on their own there, so.
You were real on decommissioning.
Yes, I'm going back to the two things that we actually need approval for, so, that I've requested approval on. And that is, decommissioning Rescue 81 vehicle. And what we'll do is, we'll put it on a fire apparatus, website up for sale, and we won't be in a hurry to sell it. We'll put a nice price on it, and then, if we sell it, we do have a plan to take the equipment off of it temporarily and put it on another vehicle until the, new pickup truck arrives. So,
And that's, which one is
Is
that?
that the grass,
It's the box.
the R81, which one?
oh, it's the box truck.
The box truck.
I guess that's the easiest way to put it.
I'll move we decommission it.
Second,
I hear, move in a second to decommission R81. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we vote?
It's been moved and seconded to, approve the decommissioning of Rescue 81 and sale thereof. Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Asplund?
yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
The request is approved.
Okay. Anything else, chief?
The consultant,
Yeah, that's what I have here. I went through this contract with, I wondered about all things, it looked ambitious. I went through, I won't go through with you, but I went with, Mr. Kauser point by point. I'm sure you guys have had a chance to read it. this finishing up, this last 6 months of finishing some things up, particularly, well, I won't, I promised I wouldn't go through it, but there's some things I'm excited about in here. And,
Maybe just tell us what are the things you're especially excited about?
well, just nailing down when our next levy cycles are coming and when we should, the plan for doing that, because Yellow Springs and the village, the village and the school board and everything, that we will be needing to project into the future. And it feels really good to have I think we already have a solid idea of how many years from now our levy cycle will be sunsetting. So I like that. Of course, getting both of our policy manuals updated, getting some kind of, getting rid of all the duplication between their standard operating procedures and our manual, doing more budget work with the other budgets. There's other ones. Some more policies. I should have read this beforehand, but,
No, that's all right, I just thought it would be helpful for citizens to hear why because whenever you hire a consultant, it seems like you should be able to justify to the public why you're doing that. So that's all really vital work that we need to do to really get the organization fully on track.
And so this is the contract, and our new policy says that the chair is authorized to sign the contract, so I'll do that. We have a resolution, our
2026-04.
And Cindy informs me that's not necessary to read the entire resolution, but it's basically a resolution accepting, authorizing me to sign.
Read the per the OPA handbook,
Read the title.
title, name and, number and title.
Resolution, I entertain a motion to pass, entertain a motion to vote on resolution 2026-04. It's a resolution authorizing the Miami Township Board of Trustees to contract with Intelliprex LLC.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we vote?
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2026-04, authorizing Miami Township Board of Trustees to contract with Intelliprex LLC for the attached proposal. Mr. Mutcher,
Yes.
Ms. Asplin,
Yes.
Ms. Moyer,
Yes.
the resolution is approved.
And then the only other thing on your report, I was really glad that you were able to move forward with the Antioch co-op student.
Yes. Sorry I skipped over
No,
that.
that's okay, it's easy for the eye to skip over it.
Can you tell?
Yeah, we had a young man come to us, well, Antioch set up a meeting, couple there, one of the visiting professors and then one of the established professors set up a meeting, and they came in and talked about this young man who is very interested in the fire service and talked about setting up a co-op with us. And, I requested to meet him first, and then we'd go through a small interview process, figure out what kind of training he has, because he was affiliated with a volunteer fire department in the state of Delaware, but he doesn't have any training. But he came in and we met and we talked for a while, and then I had four of us interview him. And so everybody agreed that we would take him on as a co-op participant.
Yeah.
And we will help him get into some training programs, and then maybe someday bring him on as, what I see is at least a part-time firefighter once he gets the training, if it works out. So the co-op runs from April to June, 30 hours a week. And right now, we're working through the details of, you know, how we pay him, whether we get a grant and pay him, or whether the grant can pay him directly and we can consider him a volunteer. But we've never really been through anything like this. We've had co-ops in the past and they didn't work out so well, so that's kind of where we were a little hesitant on this. But after I met this young man, I think he can work out very, very well. So we're gonna teach him firehouse life, bring him in. He's gonna learn everything there is to learn before he goes out on calls. We're gonna try to get him into a volunteer firefighter program, which is a 36-hour certification class through the state. And you know, we're gonna see how it goes. And then maybe have a long-term relationship with him. He can be a volunteer, he can come in and ride on calls once he gets his certification. And we're gonna give him a shot, so.
Cool. Yeah.
Kind of excited about
Yeah,
And there's been a long relationship between the fire department and Antioch College that it's kind of nice to reinvigorate.
it. Somebody dropped off a picture, and I don't know if you saw the picture, but actually it was the two previous chiefs were on top of, when they were kids, they were on top of an Antioch fire department when they actually had the fire department over there.
Over there, yeah.
So there's probably 10 of their firefighters on top of the old fire truck sitting in front of their fire garage over there at the Antioch College. Somebody came in one day and dropped a picture off. Pretty neat.
Nice.
where's the picture now?
It's back in the,
I don't
where is the picture?
It's all right. It's in the building somewhere.
I know exactly where it is. It's on my desk somewhere. Which piles it is.
When Antioch folded their Maples, their fire department, their old American LaFrance engine came over here and we used it for.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the fire truck that's in that picture.
Okay, Dan, cemetery report?
I don't have very much. We had one burial since the last meeting, and that was in Clifton Cemetery, the full burial. That's about all that's been going on.
This one burial? Yeah, we can talk outside the meeting about how things work between us and Cedar, Clifton, because I don't completely understand it, but I'm just thinking about how the money's flowing, but we'll talk about that. Everything looks good. So this is the thing I added to the agenda, and I'm excited about the cemetery. And Deborah, our fiscal consultant, I said, can you run a report that does this and does it do that? Can you run this and this and this? And she got me all kinds of wonderful information. So the purpose of this is for, basically for me and Chris to get on the same page about what we're doing in the cemetery this year. So, and I was gonna bring it for next week, but by next week we should be voting on it. So if I waited till next week, we would run out of time, and I believe maybe both of you are leaving town after next meeting, possibly?
Just for me from the 25th to the 30th, but I'll be in town before the 25th.
And Lori's been saying, why don't we use let the people see what we're doing more, so I'm gonna try it. If it will.
Hang it up somewhere.
If we used it more, it would. I have it. Oh, what time's that? I have it in my. No, that's not it. What am I looking for? I'm looking for, no. There you are. You have a picture of it, Lori? This is real interesting information she got. I compiled it, but, these two numbers aren't really relevant. It seems like in the cemetery, we're either having a steady year of maintaining or we're having an expanding year. We got the cemetery in 2013 and have added a lot to it. Expanded the traditional area. Chris expanded a natural prairie burial area. Columbariums, if you know what those are. If you don't, ask someone, or ask me. Then Oak Grove, Scattering Garden, and now a Pine Path. So you can see that our revenue is steadily climbs. I don't know what's happening between 24 and 25. 24 seems awfully low and 25 seems awfully high. I think maybe some funds that belong to 24 might have got it to 25. So I think we're up about to 90,000, I would say. And then our expenditures seem really steady. When we were smaller, we had a one big year, 22, that would put in a lot of infrastructure, including water, wells and running water and things. And then last year we expanded, Chris, I don't want to say we, because I don't want to take credit for your stuff, but we expanded the a pine area, a path area. So this is all also interesting. Well, the revenue versus expenditure each year, we pretty much took in more than we spent, except this year we broke even. This one we spent way more than we brought in, and then the other years we took in more than we spent. And then this was also interesting, the beginning balance at the beginning of every year, the ending balance. I know you need to read this yourself to make meaning out of it, but so I think we'll have a carrier of 76,000 this year, and who knows what the revenues will be. So I just wanted to set that stage of, so we have to set up, the three of us have to agree on a budget this year. And so I asked, so trustees, I have this page. And Chris, I asked anybody who wants to do something beyond the basic maintenance and burials this year. If they'd hand something in, and Chris, you handed in this and I didn't fully understand this, so I thought if I have mine and it has the same lines as yours and our numbers are different, that maybe we could give an idea of what both of us are thinking.
It was my understanding that you wanted not a budget, but an appropriations to go for permanent appropriations for the year. And those are the best numbers I could come up with.
Okay, so do we go line?
Unfortunately, very recently, I've had some additional information about this. The amount of burials and of course that changes the income too. So that does have to be clarified.
Okay, good. Well, maybe we can not take the people. We have time to do it now?
No.
Can you give me, if it's bad news, or you say we didn't take as much money as we thought this year?
We took in more. Well, we spent more, but we took in more.
Yeah. Did we spend more than $92,000?
No.
Okay, did we take in more than 116?
No, we didn't take in more than 116. I don't know where you got the 116, but the most I came up with on the numbers I had originally was 92,500.
And that was based on what you sold this year?
2025.
Yeah, so see those two numbers here, Chris? 2024, it says,
No, 2025, not 2025.
yeah, I was showing you. Wah. Brian?
I don't know why it's flashing.
Do you know why it's big?
Well,
It's flashing.
Is where you were going.
It's larger when it flashes.
I get 500 side, 500 times as big, so that's fine. There you are. Well, if Chris is gonna turn around, then I can't shut him anyway, but, I got
I'm
it
sorry,
lined
I
up
really
now.
don't know.
All
Unless you're
right,
hitting some, it was flashing when you were talking, so I don't know.
okay,
Talk fast.
Chris.
Flashing.
I will recalculate those numbers and get them.
No, but I think your numbers is probably right. Damn it. I mean, darn it, shut me.
Don't worry about it.
All right,
We've got the hard numbers at least, and people have at least seen them once.
they have a copy of it.
Oh, then let's just look at the hard copy.
Do you see on 24, Chris? It says,
I didn't look 24, I only looked at 25, because I was appropriating for the 26 year,
Right.
not the 24.
yeah.
I don't need the 24 numbers. I needed the 25
I'm
numbers.
trying to tell you that we were steadily climbing. The last years we got like 80, 70, 90. And then in 2024, we only had 60, we only took in 66. Okay.
You have to discuss that with some financial
No.
people.
No, I think I got it.
Okay,
And you're saying, and then it says in 2025, we took in 116, and you're coming closer to 90. I think you're right. I think what probably happened is some things that were sold in 24 probably were deposited in 25.
Very
Because
possibly, yes,
we
ma'am.
definitely took in $116,000 worth of deposits. So
Okay.
I think we solved the mystery. Or at least it's solved in my head anyway. So do you have the copy of what you had? So in a regular, not expansive year, we should only need, I only had 10,000 for salaries. You had 15.
yes, and that number's gonna go up based on additional information I have. Because I found out that we buried 10 additional people over what I originally calculated the number to be. Oh,
So
but that's
how did
gonna be off, that's going to be offset because I didn't have the breakdown between the full burials and the ashes. And those numbers are different for what we charge for those different services. So I've got to recalculate that also.
I think they were all cremation, because the additional ones, I think are just cremation.
Is that right?
I think so.
Okay.
But that won't affect salaries this year.
Yeah. If we bury as many people this year as we did last year, my basing was on 27 burials, not 37, which is the new number. And so we take in $650 for each one we bury, full burials, and then calculates that we spend roughly $450 in salaries to
For
bury
burial.
somebody.
Probably about that.
Okay,
So those numbers are going to change some. If most of them were ashes, the additional 10, that will change the number some, but not by a whole lot, because it's only $250 to
275,
open and close.
275 or 300 on Saturday, so
No,
with that,
275, I'm sorry,
that'd
or
be
300
another
something.
figure on.
but the amount we've been paying them every year has been fairly stable. I mean, okay.
I
15,
can only go by, 2025 numbers.
okay, so 15's fine, 15,000's fine, and you say it might go up. I don't understand, we're not speaking the same language, but that's okay. We never really put any like OPERS as part of the salaries, the pension and the Medicare and stuff. I left those in there in case we want to start, Cindy, doing it proportionally, like if we want, when we take their salaries out of 3 different funds, proportionally put, but that's just fiscal officer talk. You had what for advertising, $172?
Uh-huh.
Do you mind it being an even 200?
I just added up what was on the
Okay,
payment sheet that I was given.
and then electricity, we came to about the same conclusion. I think. What does your number say?
7:30,
730 for electricity, water, and sewage?
yeah, all utilities.
I came up with 800, maybe I was padding it a little, 800 for electricity, 273 for water and sewage. And then-
Budgets should be conservative, you should always overestimate your
Yeah,
costs.
so, and so this is skinny, I'm gonna beef it up a little bit, and before I give it to you guys to have your input. And then contracted services. I went through, you came to 28,000, does that say 28,000? For your contracted services? Do you have your paper there?
23,808.56.
23,808.
56.
23,808.56.
Sorry, is this for like when you're doing the firm appropriations, is that what you're trying to
Yeah.
ask for? Can I just ask that we not have those kinds of numbers when we do the permanent appropriations? And yeah, like when you said, can I make 178, 200? Yes, make it 200.
Yeah,
These little,
And we'll beef it up.
it's just way more complicated, it needs to be,
Yeah.
just bump it up to the next 100 or whatever.
So I went ahead and wrote all the vendors that we used under contract services. And some of them that were obviously having to do with building out the Pine Cemetery I didn't include. I looked at 2, 3 years, and I'm going to beef each of those up, but that's, so I came up with 29,500, which is pretty close to yours. Yours is 28, or yours was 23,808. How did you get? I mean, are you okay? Are you?
I added Cedarville Lawn, Logical Solutions, Leisure Lawn,
Okay, I got that.
Village Pontum, and the Yellow Springs News. And I should have put in an additional $800 for Deb Slater, because she charges like $75 a month.
Yeah. So I say to you, Pontum, Cedarville Lawn, Deb Slater is by design, Logical Solutions, we're charged for that. Then I have Leisure Lawn, and I put in some for Trims Property Management. What, is that like tree?
No. That was for a cement slab for the,
Oh, good, you took
All
that
in the
out.
back,
mhm,
yeah, that's a done deal.
that's not,
Yeah.
Slab, okay. And Enex Tree Service, we probably need them every year for something.
Have a big tree come down, yeah.
So, Dodds Memorial, what,
that would be under basically discretionary expenses maintenance at the end. We don't contract with ENIC for any particular amount per year.
No, good job.
It's just a discretionary expense, which I put in, what, $5,000?
oh, does that say 5,000? Okay,
Maintenance,
I'll move Enoch down
maintenance
there.
and supplies,
I thought it said
5,000.
25,000, I thought, I didn't know what's happening.
There is a 25,000, but that's not related.
Oh,
to
yeah.
this.
Dodds Memorial, you would say goes under the other two?
I don't have anything with God's Memorial.
I don't know why,
And then for the etching, for Colburn, we have to pay them the etch and the scattering garden, that's the only thing we have to pay them.
Well, that may be the case in the discretionary expenses part. I was just doing the contracted.
Because
that's what-
Figure out what we pay
that
them
would-
for.
Contracted expenses shows up on permanent appropriations, not, I mean, office and supply, or other supplies, those sorts of things. All of that stuff gets lumped in,
The
and that's,
Dodge deal is.
yeah, that's in the 5,000.
so you're saying Dodds is the operating and Phoenix is the operating. What about True Green Commercial? We paid them 740 last year,
That's contracted.
and that's the people that do. And I threw in a miscellaneous 3,000. I don't really know. Is that what people do with budgets? We put in something in case something comes up? Okay.
I'm sure
Maybe not.
I'm sure Dan can spend it.
Maybe not under-
Maybe not.
Maybe not under contracted.
Unless we need a contractor. Okay, I'll put that under, we don't have an accountant on staff. Okay.
We don't.
And then, under operating supplies, I don't know, Chris, I didn't know where to get my number either, I don't know where you got yours, I just looked at the places we picked up stuff at, like Menards, and we had the Green Burial Council, if we're going to pay them a subscription or a membership. The usual suspects, Lowe's, Rural Kings,
What is Green Burial Council?
don't we pay them to be licensed as a metro,
Mhm.
not licensed, what do we,
Certified.
certified
Certified natural burial.
as metro burial people? Which,
So we pay them for the certification?
yeah,
Then wouldn't that be a contract?
Yeah, probably, you could consider
It
that
doesn't seem like it's a
contracted.
they never really, they're out in like Oregon or something, right? They don't really come certify us, but, and I don't know that, people care whether we're certified or not, but we'll keep it,
I've had a lot of people contact me for interest in the natural burial that we provide and have asked, are we certified natural burial?
okay. So we'll stick with it. So is it appropriate in operating supplies to just put Lowe's, Rural Kings, Stephen Thought, what do we,
Trees,
trees, and is that for when the
Oak
people,
grove.
for the oak grove? And last year we spent like 1,800, so I put 2,000 in there, so I'll beef that up too. And so the
Well,
more,
are we gonna plant a lot
we're
more
gonna plant
trees?
5
We're okay.
this year, we're gonna put 5 in.
you can put 5 trees in there. How much should I put
But
aside
where
for?
are they, Chris, 200 piece, 185, 200 piece, somewhere
Yeah.
$200.
Oh, no, I put
275.
1,000.
Maybe, yeah,
Yeah,
That's good, but
yeah.
put 1,000
Two
in
to
if you're
three,
worried
2
about
to 3
carbon.
somewhere.
Mhm.
we'll put in 1,500 in, you got money. So Chris, that settles that, rural, I put in $500 for Lowe's, Menards, Rural King, I don't know, is that the kind of places you need to go to get things sometimes? Holland Supply, what do we use them for?
We won't use them anymore.
Oh, it's another $2,000. Thanks. And so I'm just trying to get us to have more detailed budgets where we actually list our providers and our vendors and things. So the big $25,000 question, Chris, is that a $25,000 there?
Mhm.
What's that all about?
Okay.
Only because we have to vote on this next week. I mean, next meeting.
Let's start with Clifton Cemetery. When we do work for Clifton Cemetery, when we mow, when we bury, when we do anything, and of course, we use our equipment, we use our lawnmowers and our backhoes and our excavators and our bobcats. For everything we do over there, we do. And to compensate us for that, we charge, do you remember? It's like $5.85 per man hour for maintenance for
Yeah, we've got that number.
for the work.
For mowing, like take this mowing,
For
with the machine.
the equipment charge, it's like a $5.85 per
It's,
hour.
it was $4.95 last year. Cost per man hour is $29.22,
And then the
and then
Holy moly, that,
cost per
mowing, and then
equipment.
you've got burial, it's on there for like full burial, what the equipment cost is. On the bottom, like 170 for a full burial or something, 66 for an ash.
Right, yeah, so
Something.
66.46 for ashes and 170 for
That's
full
okay.
burial.
for equipment,
Equipment. That's when we dig the grave, yeah.
yeah. I thought we had a flat rate per hour.
Well, that would be however many it is, if I dig a grave, it's an hour to dig it.
Okay, well, be that as it may, it's a charge to the Clifton Cemetery Board for equipment that we provide for them. In our road and cemetery department, we have a fair amount of equipment, fair amount of pricey equipment. Dan's gonna get us a price on,
Backhoe.
well, everything that we use.
Right.
And about how often he expects we'd have to replace it, just to give us an idea of what that cost would be. It's my opinion only, that I feel that it's long overdue that the general fund, the fire fund, the cemetery, obviously, all use the road equipment for nothing. free. We pay the man hour to do the work, but we don't do anything about the equipment. And it's on site and it's running and it's wearing out. And I feel that we should spread that cost out a little bit. Consequently, I think the cemetery should contribute $25,000 a year for the use of all the equipment that he uses to bury people. This is all the cemeteries, not the Clifton obviously, but this is all the Glen Forest cemeteries. I also feel that the fire department and the general fund should share the cost of mowing this building every 16 times a year, trimming it, picking up the leaves and the dirt and the sticks and the whatever else that has to be done.
So that's
plus-
right now that's being charged to the roads department?
Yeah. And plowing the driveways and the aprons, that's all done by the road department, with road department equipment. Fire department does not contribute a dime for that. The sidewalks are cleared, the general fund doesn't contribute a dime for that. We do all the landscaping or the maintenance or whatever at the Grinnell Mill. It's mowed, I don't know, it's trimmed or this or that or the other thing, but we use equipment for that. And, that's no charge to the general fund. So I'm just throwing out numbers, and it can be done many different ways, and it can be done a little more exact, and it would be a whole lot more, keeping track of things. But at least to start out, I projected, $5,000 for the general fund, $5,000 for the fire department, and $25,000 for the cemetery into the road maintenance and equipment line item, to be used, obviously, to replace as we go. That would be $30,000. If it was consistent, that'd be $30,000 a year.
Cemetery.
That's not a drop in the bucket. It doesn't buy a backhoe, but it's more than they started out
So
with.
the cemetery would contribute $25,000 a year?
Yeah. They use them. They do an awful lot of work burying people over there, and mowing, and trimming, and
Okay,
planting trees, and the like.
so now we're getting even a smaller margin on the cemetery fund.
Well,
I mean, okay.
The last I looked at, the figures I had, we had taken in 95,000, we had spent 69,000, 68,000. Let me look at exactly what I said. Well, I think
I have it all on chart here.
We spent
This,
This paper I gave you.
$69,771.06 in expenses, off of income of
No.
$95,850. The 69 includes the 25,000 capital expense.
No, 92,000 is what we spent in the last year, but last year was an unusual year.
Well, we didn't spend it, the additional amount, you spent something other than salaries, contracted services, advertising, utilities, operating supplies, and this capital. Everything else was just incidental or was something that was not a yearly expense. I'm trying to project a yearly expense, not a one-time bump for whatever reason.
You were both doing that, but okay.
So anyway, that's what this 25 is for, and it incorporates into the additional amounts from the other different funds that I think are necessary to be able to keep the road equipment at the level that it should have.
Could we all, when you collect that information, could we all get that, all the pieces of equipment? And I'll send it to you, all pieces of equipment, what it's used for, and what the age is, and how long you expect them. I'm looking at a cemetery, we can't do this tonight, but once we stop expanding, and we're almost to completion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you were planning anything else, it would be in this budget, right?
Yes, the only thing is there's like $1,500 still floating around from the 5,000 that we authorized to complete the pine forest.
No,
Yes.
oh, no. We
Well, you
spent.
voted against it, but.
Yeah, I did. you've spent like 35,000 easily spent 35,000 building that. You've gone way beyond. what
This was the 5,000 that the board
No.
agreed.
We approved 15,000, then we approved 5,000, that's 20,000. We're up to like 35,000, 30,000 plus labor, and that's fine.
Whatever you say, Marilyn, go ahead. Okay.
That's numbers.
All right.
And that's one of the reasons I asked you for this, like, what are you planning? Like, we need a budget of if you think there are things that need to be finished with the cemetery that are beyond those, that's what we're looking for. Like, what are the numbers? Like, you need a budget, what you plan to do, how much it's going to cost, we need to approve it, and then according to our new purchasing policy, you need, what is this called, purchase orders or blank certificate for it. So we can't just say, you have $5,000, go do whatever you want anymore, it has to be approved, so.
It was already approved. If you want to renege on that, that's fine. We can do it that way.
Chris, you were approved for 20,000 for this and you spent 35. I'm just saying.
The last time we approved money.
Chris?
Well, so it's.
There was no accounting, and it's fine. There was no accounting of how much you were spending because we didn't have the mechanism in place in the fiscal office to account for how much you were spending between the different ways. Sometimes you're spending it by sending Dan to buy it. Sometimes you're spending it by buying it online. Sometimes you're spending it by putting it on a credit card. And so we didn't really have a way to track it in our fiscal office. So I got all the reports and I came up with a number. And actually I found even one more landscape architect thing from last time. So it really is around 35,000 plus labor.
Well, you can check your minutes, but Don Hollister and I, because you would not vote for it, approved a $5,000 finishing expense for the Pine Forest Natural Burial Area.
Right, and she is saying that you have far exceeded that.
That was in prior years, in prior time. That was 5,000 going forward.
So
That
it
was not to,
sounds
that was
like,
not to spend, that was not to pay bills that had already been paid.
it sounds like it would be useful for us to maybe have this conversation. Were you thinking about a possible work session for working on this,
Yeah, at 1 p.m. at any time next week, the 9th. I was gonna pick March 11th, although that sounds like a time or Chris, from here on out, everything all purchases have to be approved. That's the
in
policy.
advance?
That's the policy that we adopted.
I'm not talking about from here on out. I'm talking about what was already
I'm
approved.
talking about individual purchases have to have purchase orders. Everything we spend.
What has that got to do with me?
It means that you don't just get 5,000 and spend it however you want it.
Yes, we did get 5,000 to spend however we want.
No,
Don
it
and I
never
approved
should
that.
have been. Nobody in
And
this
you voted against it.
organization
Yes, I remember you
should
voting
be
against it.
able, no one in this organization should be able to go and buy whatever they want we should have everything that we purchase approved and have a purchase order for it
In advance.
in advance. So that's what we're trying to do here. Otherwise, we would never have been able to spend, if we had had that in place, we never would have approved $20,000 and then spent 35. And I don't even have a dog in that fight anymore. It's just the reality. We spent 20,000 we approved 20,000 to develop that section and we spent 35. And we spent 35 because we have nothing in place to track approval of funds or purchases made. So.
Do you have a motion to put before us?
No. So I guess what we need from you is if there's things that you want to finish up with the pine, what do you call it, the pine path? That you should put it in some sort of table and tell us what you plan to spend. And then we have to vote on it. Is it, never mind, we won't talk about it now.
So do you
Is that
want,
work session?
Work session,
do you want to call a work session for, March 11th at 1 o'clock? Is that what you're saying?
sure. If that's good for you guys, and that's just picking one out of the air, though, I could do that any day between the 9th and the.
I personally will not be available that day.
Chris, how are we gonna work this out? On that day, would you like to pick another one?
Any day prior to that, or any day after the 19th of March.
I could do Monday or Tuesday.
Of next week?
Yeah.
I can do either of those days, Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, Monday at 1.
Monday the 9th at 1?
Yeah. And I sincerely hope that when we all agree on everything in advance, then we'll all be free to not have to worry or wonder if what we're doing is approved.
And will the cemetery be the exclusive focus of this work session? Cemetery costs?
Yes. Thanks, Lori. Thanks, Chris. Where am I? Anything else for cemetery? Roads.
Oh, we've had some snow events.
We didn't discuss / agree, not necessarily agree, but where we want to go on this capital contribution for the road department for equipment.
I'd have to think about that.
I think it would be good to have a discussion of that at
At
the
this
work session. We won't be
Yeah.
able to pass anything because you don't pass anything at work session. But
Yeah.
it would be good for us to think about
Yeah,
it.
let's
and
add
then
that to the work session.
Add, well, it's part of the cemetery budget.
Okay. I was wondering where that's coming from. Are you concerned about the funds in the road department, or are you just thinking that, I often wondered if things that we bought for the road department were being used in the cemetery, and if that was completely above board, if we were allowed to use the taxpayers' money they're paying for roads, just only the unincorporated people are paying for the roads, and are we allowed to use it for other things? I kind of got the feeling that the backhoe was mostly used for the cemetery, but that's not true. No.
It's road, we own all the equipment. The road department owns all the equipment.
Yeah, I know.
Cemetery don't own any equipment.
Yeah, I know that, but do we mainly use the backhoe for the cemetery?
We use backhoe in cemetery, use the excavator in
Do you
cemetery.
use the backhoe for roads?
We use go for road.
We could. So that's an interesting question, Chris.
My concern was not so much how much money, that they were short on money. My concern was in the future. At the rate, okay, I need to back up just a little bit. Most of his equipment works like a champ today.
Yeah.
It just so happens that a whole lot of the expensive part of the equipment is roughly in the same age and usage. And I don't want to be I don't want us to come to a position where all of a sudden, we didn't think, damn, the dump truck is just about ready to fight the dust. And the excavator is used up, and we got $199,000 sitting in the bank. But we just said $230,000 worth of equipment needs to be replaced, quickly.
Is that true?
I'm trying to,
Is that number true?
It's just numbers.
Okay, we don't have $230,000.
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm trying to project
just,
and be on the safe side. And I'm also trying to be fair. I mean, they're working for the general fund, they're working for the fire fund, they're working for the cemetery fund. They're using their equipment. We're paying them for their labor to do those jobs, but we're not paying them for the equipment that they're using for their jobs. It's like saying, Jim, okay, we're gonna pay for all your volunteers and your paramedics, but you gotta find some other way to get an ambulance or a fire truck or something, you know, if you really need one. Cause we're tapped out. Okay. But you
No,
understand-
I
you
agree,
understand what I'm
they're
saying?
they're different business parts of the business, and they should each be paying for themselves, I
Mhm.
agree.
So I'll make up some kind of sheet then, exactly what, naming each thing, how old it is, how much it costs to replace, when it's gonna be replaced. And also, maybe if you can estimate the percentages that it's used in the cemetery, roads, fire department in general. Okay, and then we'll have facts,
Yeah, that'd be great.
facts to back that.
Thank you.
Okay,
And yeah, if you could have that, is Monday, March 9th, do you think you could have it by then?
Possibly, if you need it, you need it.
Okay. Great, thank you.
good. Once again, anything else before Dan goes, reports on roads?
Yep.
What were you gonna say? Were you gonna do a road report?
Yeah, we had snow the last couple of weeks, couple times,
Thanks, Dan.
took care of that, and, I hauled some more salt in the other day. I need some more salt, so.
I guess one.
Other than that, we're just servicing everything, getting ready for the season.
Is it done snowing, Dan?
No, we're done with the big ones.
Yeah,
We get tulips that tall in my yard, so it's not much longer.
Oh,
We turned in, you know, costs. You guys probably already know. We turned in costs just in case we're declared a disaster on the counties, and maybe we'll get some back for all our snow removal. So we got a hunch that our grant went through. And then
By word of
we
mouth.
also, part of the
by word of mouth, yeah.
permanent appropriations, decide we, yeah, I'll put something else on the agenda too. Decide where that's gonna come from, which we already said, but why there? And, yeah, and then, okay, I have an idea, but I'll put it on the agenda for this meeting.
For this work session?
Yeah, it's just basically more about equipment, like,
So cemetery funding capital equipment? costs?
yeah, how about, that sounds great. Fiscal, we have a, we were gonna have an executive session, do you want to have that, now?
I would request one.
We can do it now. You have to
For-
say it aloud.
522-31G, whatever.
I
Okay.
have enough,
Okay,
I keep it in.
so I'll make that motion.
And we're supposed, I think I read we're supposed to actually state it.
I need a second.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded to move to executive session under roads for pursuant to ORC 121-22G1, employee compensation. Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Ms. Aspen,
yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
motion approved, recess at 6:09.
We're returning to regular session at 6:20. No motion will be taken at this time. No action, I should say. Here comes fiscal officer report.
Okay, let's see, where to start, I've been in touch with the auditors, same people that we had do it 2 years ago. I think, you know, there are a number of ways that they can do it, and last year dragged on, or 2 years ago, dragged on so long. She thinks that we could just probably, maybe even before I leave, possibly do in March, they would just come for a day, possibly two, but I think they're like 3 hours away, they would just we would try to have everything compiled before, they send us a long checklist, and then it would just be, in-house, or, you know, in like, 1 day's time. So that's what we're gonna try to go for, so it doesn't drag out so much as before, and also so that they don't take all our files off-site, which also made me nervous that we did last time, so So that's what we're shooting for, and possibly even this month, we'll see how fast things can move, it depends on how many other places they have to schedule with and things like that.
Okay.
And then, I think it was you, Cindy, maybe that talked to somebody with this HR butler, in the Columbus area, and he reached out because they do payroll services, so I did, he gave me a lot of information. They also do a lot of other townships in Ohio, and they, specifically work a lot and know like OPNF and OPERS things, so that could be helpful as you're, looking at payroll companies this year down the line. That could be one for consideration, because it's local, it's not just like one of the national ones.
Yeah, I
And
know.
we talked to them at the OTA vendor.
Yeah,
So it sounds like it's a good
No.
thing software, I just don't know, price wise how that's comparable, so I'm gonna forward you the email of things that he sent me with, and I had a phone conversation with him.
okay. And as soon as Cindy gets more up to speed on how payroll works, I realized she had to be up to speed for that before, then we're gonna start with the different interviews with it. And we were gonna get 3 bids, and
So
they
this
were
would be-
one of them.
Okay, good, so you already have that HR butler.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that I was wondering, I was gonna do them just because I wanted 3 bids, and I didn't know they actually did townships.
Yeah, it sounds like, they have some other things they could offer too. Of course, he's a salesperson, and I can be easily swayed, so I'm like, that sounds great. But that's up to trustees to, decide. But anyway, it sounds like they have had some things that were beneficial. I got a new calendar for the office, it's a prettier one than the fire truck one. Not that fire trucks aren't pretty, but anyway.
They're free.
But yeah, but we're also, Cindy's working on trying to get also a big faster one that still has all the deadlines and all of the things, ebbs and flows that happen over the course of the year, so that everybody can kind of see that in real time. So that's also ongoing. We're probably gonna hang something like that up too, that will be bigger. The year was closed out on February 12th, and the Hinkle file, which it's not really called Hinkle file anymore, but for all intents and purposes, the Hinkle filing was also done. So that's closed out in UAN, and I think these are yearly things that happen, but Cindy also, and we've been working a lot together, was with us for that, so I think it's really helpful that she'll have those yearly things too, that she's seen over the course of, because a lot of things happen annually at this time of year. The BMS, you saw the emails with that, we're working on that, they're charging us too much anyway, we're getting that sorted out. I'm waiting on the certificate of amended resources from Sarah. I think we went back and forth with different reports and new reports that she needed, and I think she has everything from me, so, hopefully we'll get that this week, and then I can get that to you so that you guys can do the
We have,
permanent.
I assume our numbers are good, but
I think so too, but
Deb gave us, you guys did such a great job, but I'd love to.
yeah,
see
of course.
Or an auditor's stamp on it or whatever.
Yeah, so we're awaiting that, and also the annual true-up, that happens every year at the end of
What is-
February,
what
so
is it?
that was done, it's for BWC, payroll, they need payroll, reports every year, and that's just something you have to file, so I also am showing Cindy how to do that next year. Chris made up a point about sales tax, some time ago, which is true. We've had as vendors AT&T and CenterPoint and places like that for ages, but, we've also been paying sales tax all the time. So I sent both of those places a W-9 of ours, AT&T and CenterPoint. Chris, those were the big ones that I saw that they were still, are there other ones that you can think of besides those that you were looking at? That are like ongoing monthly
I
vendors?
have to give you my folder of the ones that I found.
Okay,
I don't remember right now if there was a pattern of.
yeah, I know sometimes there were write-offs, like, oh, so this shouldn't be taken off, but those are every month. And sometimes it's, $20 a month that we're being charged sales tax, so that all adds up. So this month I sent them those along with, payment, and hopefully that can be taken off for the future with those two. And if we think of more, let me know. Sarah. I think that was everything that I have, just I'm trying to train Cindy on as many things as I can think of. And I'm really excited about her well, that's the next part of the report, so I won't jump on it.
You're excited about her coming on board, or you're excited about you stepping off?
Both.
Okay, so I have a resolution, I entertain a motion to pass resolution 2026-05.
Yeah.
Entitled, Resolution Authorizing the Appointment of Cynthia L. Powles as Miami Township Fiscal Officer, and that would take place on April 21st.
No, April 1st.
I mean, April 1st, of course. Where that came from. I'm proud of this thing I wrote, but I won't read it.
I read it, it's very good.
I move for the adoption of the resolution.
Second. Can't find it, but I did read it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I'd like to say I'm so grateful that you're willing to step up, and you're so, and such an exacting and detail-oriented person, and that you already know us, and you don't, you're already in the thick of it, taking our minutes, so we're very, very grateful that you're willing to step up and take the position.
And that you've been so forward-looking and doing the trainings and things even before coming on board was really good. And working so closely with Gina and consultant to get up to speed, kind of going above and beyond. So really grateful for the work that you've been doing and the work that you've been doing, Gina, to make
Thanks,
that transition.
Gina, for the extra time it takes to train someone.
Thank you. Also, I was looking at the payment listing and thinking about Fred's
Vote
input.
on this?
We need to go.
Oh, sorry.
I do appreciate the opportunity being offered now. It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2026-05, and this is very odd reading. Resolution authorizing the appointment of Cynthia L. Powles as Miami Township Fiscal Officer effective April 1, 2026. Mr. Mutcher.
Yes.
Ms. Askin.
Yes.
Ms. Moyer.
Yes.
Hearty congratulations.
Thank you.
Gina's not going to let loose. I'm not going to let loose of her for a while.
I'm not disappearing.
No, I very much appreciate Gina's sharing and everything we've gone through in the office in the last 6 months, and then most particularly the last 6 weeks as this has been brewing. So look forward to the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. I was just gonna add that with Fred's thing, I was looking at the payment listing that I give you all, and I could just put like that total. And we could have that on the agenda so that there's still a number that's, and I can see why that would be helpful to the public, especially if it's something that you've been used to. So maybe that could be something that we start doing. I don't know that it necessarily needs a motion of approval like we have been doing because you're signing the checks, but that's just a point of order. Anyway, we could put that total number on the agenda. That would be helpful.
Part of your report,
Yeah,
piece of information.
okay. That was everything I had.
Okay. Brian, zoning inspection report, inspector report.
Thanks. Hello, trustees.
Hello, Brian.
This month, or in February, February, 6 permits were issued. 6 things were accomplished. I guess I could write that a little bit differently, but there was a cell tower upgrade on South River Road. There were 2 agricultural exemptions for barns on Houston Road and State Route 343. And just to clarify, especially for Lori being new, an agricultural exemption, if someone's gonna put an accessory structure out, a barn, a shed, a detached garage, whatever it is, and they're gonna use it specifically for an agricultural purpose, then you are, by the ORC, you don't have to follow zoning, you're excluded from zoning rules. But it also helps to have something if there is something with the county or any type of documentation. So what I can do is offer agricultural exemption. So someone can say, hey, I wanna do this and I just wanna make sure it's covered through the township in case the county asks me or a building department asks me. So all I have them do is fill out a form that says, yes, I'm using this for an agricultural purpose, and they get it notarized, they sign it, they get it notarized, and then that goes in the file under that address. And then I turn around and generate a letter that just says, it's been accepted and this is for you and you can build your. But it also specifically says that they sign that if at any time they're not using it for the agricultural purpose, they should go through the standard permit process. So it keeps residents from paying a fee for one,
Right.
and it's by law agriculturally exempt. So I think it's worth pointing that out because that is two barns that would have had a permit issue, but in lieu of a permit, it's an agriculture exemption. Okay. So also there was a shed for a resident on 343, a pole barn on Golden Willow Court, and then I signed a lot split. Those are a very simple process for me. I just need to sign and make sure the lot, the reason they're splitting the lot makes sense, so it still matches the 3 acres and has the right road frontage and things like that. But I wanted to bring this up to you guys just to let you know, this was an 83-acre lot on Tanyard Road, and it was split and sold to two farmers that are adjacent on either side. So 73 acres of it went to one, and 10 acres went to the other farmer. So it's really cool to see one where you go like, oh, a lot split, so we're getting smaller, but not really. Those were just pushed off to two neighbors. So they're continuing to be farms. So anyways, I've only done a couple of lot splits, so it's kind of cool to see that process happen. Board of Zoning Appeals did not meet. We haven't met yet. They haven't met since last June. So in a way, that's a good thing. There's not a lot of variances going
Because
on, but
we needed another seat, we need another person in public.
yeah, we
health.
still need someone on the Board of Zoning Appeals. We're setting 4 members, which they can still function, but to have 5 is better, and it's better for the residents to have 5 people on that board instead of 4. So you need 3 out of 5 instead of 3 out of 4, which you'll currently need if you
No
need a
shortage of
variance. or
ideas of
additional
people,
use.
but, it's,
I've talked- Go ahead.
I've been putting it on the low priority list, and I gotta bump it up.
So anyways, that's where we are with the Board of Zoning Appeals. They haven't met. The Zoning Commission, we had that open house. It was attended by about 8 to 10 residents. We didn't have a true number. It was beneficial. We got to talk to a couple of residents. There was one specific resident that brought up an issue, because if you don't know, or some of you do know, regional planning puts up boards of each one of the text amendments, and then residents can walk through and read the different ones. And this resident had a conflict with like, hey, this says a setback, I won't get into all specifics, but a particular setback that wouldn't benefit her. So that was one of the pieces that we talked about after the open house. The zoning commission with regional planning went through each one and did the kind of the finalization of each one of those. And we ended up changing it in favor of that particular resident. It was basically a setback from 15 feet to 10 feet, which made logical sense, but when we wrote it, we just kind of put 15 feet. But she gave us a specific example of, hey, this will affect me, and it was neat to have the open house only just for that, if that was the only thing that came out of that open house. So it was kind of nice to have that.
That's good
the
personal
15
service you got there.
Go ahead.
That's good personal service.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't tell her that. We said we'll consider it, but then, yeah. So if anybody else wanted us to change something else, you missed your opportunity. Just kidding. Basically finalize the 15 text amendments. Officially, this meeting that the zoning commission has this Thursday, they will formally forward those 15 text amendments to regional planning. Okay, so I had this on there last time. I just wanted to continue to update it just because the grant timeline is everything that the zoning is working on. So March 5th is this Thursday. I just told you what's happening there. April 2nd will be the public hearing that the zoning commission will hold. They'll have a regional planning's answer back from what they've already helped us do. And they will vote to formally send it to you, the trustees. I think it's still the 15 that they've been talking about. So here's the part that the timeline is a little bit different than we talked about before. If you remember, I said I think it's gonna be, well, it would be virtually impossible to brief 15 different text amendments that some people, you, because you're the one I'm briefing, but that you haven't seen before, we haven't discussed it before. you're gonna have questions or wanna know why we went down that route, or what if we did this instead of that. It would probably take at least 5+ hours to do, in one meeting, and that's gonna be ridiculous.
And I should point out that this on the back of this.
Yeah, on the back of that, I have a breakdown of my plan. I talked to this with Lori. She gave me the kind of the thumbs up before I replied to regional planning, but how it works is on April 2nd, the zoning commission, if everything goes as planned, will formally send it to you to approve all 15 text amendments. Instead of talking about all 15 on one meeting, is splitting that up between 3 different dates. So this would be April 6th, April 20th, and May 4th. And how we can do this from a legal ORC standpoint is you have to start the process of that public hearing within 20 days of it's sent from the zoning commission to you. So as long as you start that one on April 6th, when we end that one on April 6th, we'll just pause the public hearing and continue it and make that announcement continued on April 20th. I also confirmed this with, oh gosh, I can't think of her name, the attorney.
Oh, the attorney at,
Yes,
at
Jen
OTA,
Huber
Jen.
at the
OTA.
Ohio, yeah, OTA. And I said, hey, if we do it this way, is this acceptable? She said, yeah, as long as you start it. And then you officially pause it and then continue it the next day on April 20th. On April 20th, we'll pause it again and then continue the public hearing on May 4th. And we should be able to wrap it up. So if you're looking at this breakdown that I have of each of the text amendments, I put them in there in such an order. The first one, 4 or 5 of those I had already talked to you about, Lori, was before you were on the board.
She was here.
So those should be a little bit, yeah, you were, that's right. These should be able to do these a little bit quicker. I scheduled about 10 minutes per, and just at 10 minutes, it's still gonna take me an hour and 15 minutes to complete that. So just keep that in mind with your meeting. On the April 20th, we did less text amendments, and I figured if it takes about 15 minutes each, that's still another hour and a quarter of your meeting time. And then on May 4th, these are some of the bigger ones that I feel you might have more questions about or need to be described in more detail. I put 30 minutes each for those. If we do them shorter, that's great. It will take about an hour and a half. So if we do that, and again, if anything, if your meeting runs long and we need to cut some of this short, we'll adjust. And it should allow you to make a decision either by the May 4th public hearing. If you don't feel comfortable or we don't get all the way through, we could push it to May 20th, your next meeting, and then finish up that last one. Or you could hear them all from me and still not make a decision until May 20th. And that would still put us within the timeline of the grant. Because it's supposed to be completed by June 1st. Does that make sense?
And that puts us within the timeline of the hearing too, because we have to have the hearing
Well, you have to have the hearing started within 20 days.
started, okay.
Yeah.
Do we need any work session? Do we need to come in at 4 and do this and then?
We can, this was my plan. If we try the first one and it doesn't work, we could add a work session. Adding a work session's great for me to communicate the information to you, but I still, because it's a public hearing, need to review it all for the public and anybody that might have a question or concern about
I
it.
think it has to be done in our regular meetings, but.
So we
Yeah.
do this first and then our regular meeting? Do we have any thoughts on that, or do we have to decide now? How do you see it happening?
That's up to you. I can't tell you how to run your meeting, but whenever you want me to speak, if you want to do that at the beginning, do your general things you have to do, approve the previous minutes, and go right into a public hearing so that way public comes.
Yeah,
They don't have to sit through the
the
whole thing if they
a
don't want
public
to.
hearing should have a time that they can rely on. Like, it should be maybe 6, maybe 7. It should be
Yeah.
probably at 5 PM, yeah.
I mean, we don't have to decide it tonight, but it might make sense to put it at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah, okay.
If we go too much earlier, people who work
Right.
are gonna have a difficult time getting here. So at 5 o'clock is already
Yeah.
difficult for.
And the only thing that I can suggest for the general public and also for you as well, obviously, is all of these updates are on the website. I mean, they're the updates from, since the open house happened. So there were changes that were made. All of them are on the website now. They're not broken down into these 3 groups, but they're all on there, just listed straight down. But what I would suggest or ask you as trustees is to at least look at these, or if you had any concerns with any of them that I'm about to talk about, like before the April 6th meeting, So that way, if you have noted questions, you can already have them ready. So I can,
Yeah.
I want to go through it fast enough that I'm not wasting time, but I also, if I read every word of this, it takes longer than 10 minutes per. So
We shouldn't read you.
some of them are fairly quick, and I mean, architectural projections that's a 2 minute if I read every word. I mean, it's pretty fast. Let's see, I want to read my notes real quick, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. The only other thing I wanted to report is there is a presentation that we set up with the zoning commission. It'll be for this Thursday. It's a company called RWE Clean Energy. And they contacted me and asked about a small solar project within our township. So they have talked to a resident that has the land that's willing to go into a small solar for distribution type use on their property. I explained to them that is not permitted, it's not listed in our resolution. The only thing that we offer is small solar for self-generation at your own property. So, but the location, it's on Snipe Road. I don't want to get into specifics because it's just it's a general thought process from their viewpoint and the residents' viewpoint. But I asked the zoning commission to if they would accept them to do a presentation. And the reason why is because we've talked about solar in the past, but it's always talking in generalities. And this is like a specific example of, hey, this could happen on Snipe Road. It could be this large. What are the pitfalls that you could think of as a zoning commission to ask the energy company that wants to do this type of project? If it doesn't go well, or if the zoning commission is not interested, then it ends right there. There's no, like, we're not approving anything to this energy company. It's just allowing them to present something so that our zoning commission can see what one would look like. So there's nothing expected for them to present. They'll present, we'll thank them, answer questions, they'll leave. And then we can talk about it as a zoning commission if it's something that we want to look at putting those type of parameters in and putting something, a text amendment in the zoning resolution for small solar for distribution. Or it could be nothing, but at least we can see one that kind of makes sense. I mean, it's with any solar or anything that's really large, the more people it affects, the more people it upsets, if that makes sense. This one at least is put in an area where there is less people, and the people that live there are very vital, and they're just as important as anybody else. But I'm just saying, the impacts of this type seem to almost make sense if somebody would be willing to do this type of project.
It's one owner?
What's that?
One landowner?
I don't believe so. I mean, it's just one property. So I just want to make it very clear that this is just a meeting for them to present to the zoning commission. The zoning commission is not approving this project. It's not permitted in our township at all.
What's the company's name again?
RWE Clean Energy.
RWE?
That's it, right? Yeah, RWE Clean Energy. It's a longer, it's almost like a Swiss name. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know what RWE stands for offhand, but I do on my computer. But yeah.
I was planning to come to the zoning commission meeting just to introduce myself and mainly, and I would like to listen to it. I assume that is fine.
I would suggest, you can do whatever you want because you're a trustee, but to come introduce yourself, that would be great. To watch the presentation, I think would be great. But I think after that, it'd probably be more appropriate to bow out because of us talking about text amendments that's not really presented to you yet. So I would just ask that part of it. It's really not good practice for trustees to be at zoning commission meetings.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I would suggest. So.
Yeah, I plan to come see too. What's the date?
Sure.
It's
This Thursday. It'll be the first thing on the agenda,
At
of course.
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock, yes. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be, we'll start the meeting, approve minutes, and then they'll go into their presentation. It's set up for just a 15-minute presentation. We gave them limited time because we're in the middle of the grant stuff. So we gave them 15 minutes, and then it'll be up to the zoning commission to do questions and answers if they want to continue longer than that. So we have board members that were interested in this. We have board members that are like, if they talk salesman-y stuff, I don't want to hear it, kind of a thing, which is fine. But I think this is a good way to see what one could look like.
Okay.
And then if if it is something that the zoning commission wants to pursue, we won't be pursuing that specific project, we will pursuing, looking at putting it into the zoning resolution at some point. And then if that works out with this particular company and that particular resident, so be it, but the work would have to be done to put it in the resolution, not approve this project, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then once it was in the resolution, if we ever get that far, and they want to present it as a project, then the zoning commission can approve it or not approve it.
Mhm.
I think it's how it works, so. All right, that's the last thing I have, thanks.
All right.
Madam Chair?
There is a question.
Fred,
May I make a comment
yes.
on this subject? Green Energy Ohio has a series of talks, 1-hour presentations that you can look at for educational purposes. There's 6 talks, they presented 4 of them, there's 2 more to go. If you go to YouTube and then put in GEO or Green Energy Ohio, they will talk about House Bill 15 and microgrids, which this topic would lend itself to that piece of information. I mean, obviously you don't have to do it, but I'm just saying if you wanted to hear about House Bill Ohio 15 and basically the concepts that fall under it, they present that about microgrids, and they're trying to put one in Cuyahoga County or however you say it. And so they talk a little bit about that project, but it's basic concepts about why it might be valuable to Ohio. It may or may not be of any interest to the township, but I'm just giving you a reference if you wanted someplace to go. But they're 1-hour sessions. I think they even have subtitles if you want to watch them, and I think they have a PDF if you want to review the concept afterwards.
Thank you, Fred.
Thanks.
New business, no, excuse me, old business, none. New business, tech advisors, Lori, you know more about this particular thing, it's an archiver?
Yeah, it's basically to help us, get up to snuff on, making sure that we have good, access to all of our public records, documents that we are required by law to keep on hand, so, and to keep it safely and so this is what what they are proposing.
Okay, so it's a one-time setup of $254 and then recurring charge of $4.50 per, I guess, subscription. I question why we need 30, but we can approve it at this rate and then determine how many.
Decide how many we actually need.
Yeah,
Is that 30 is 30 units, 30 computers effectively, is that?
I don't know, or 30 accounts, Microsoft accounts, I don't know.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Right.
And
I
Right, so
tentative-
this
it's like
part
a
is
Zoom
the,
meeting or something.
I saw one.
Okay.
What it does,
Yeah, so this
2
is,
weeks,
it
2
includes the
months.
email archiving and it also includes,
oh,
filtering and, you know, keeping things,
reputation service.
basically
Emergency about.
cybersecurity. That was the word I was
Right.
not coming up with,
And,
so
and
it's
I do
both
believe
sides.
we need it to be compliant with HB 96.
Yes.
So,
So we need it for various reasons, both to make sure we have our public records in order, so that our emails are archived and, that we have protections that are in line with cybersecurity protocols.
I entertain a motion to accept the,
So moved.
Second,
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Maybe we vote?
It's been moved and seconded to accept the tech advisor's proposal, the archiver, email system. With the dollar amounts presented and the 30 user under review. Mr. Mutcher.
Yes.
Ms. Aspen.
yes.
Ms. Moyer.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, and, we also recommended two of our computers are no longer going to be able to take, they're aging out, what do they call it, Windows 11?
Right.
And so we're purchasing 2 laptops that we need to approve. I don't know if trustees, if you've got this or if you have any questions, it's boring, but I'll tell you why. Okay, let's just approve. This same computer could be a consumer grade we could get for $849. They recommend, Dell has the consumer level and then Dell Pro and then Dell off the charts whiz bang. The Dell Pro is recommended for government and business because it's extra sturdy, it lasts longer, it comes with a longer warranty, and most importantly, it has a lot of security features. So the cost is $1,229 each with that cute little carrying case, $24.99. So how do we want to do this? A motion to approve the spending for these
2 computers.
computers in the 2 cases.
I move for approval.
I second.
Hearing a motion in a second, any further discussion? May we vote?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of 2 new laptops, cost of $12.29 plus $24.99
Yeah.
was the case each.
How would be tax and.
As
No, there won't be
no
tax. No,
No tax.
What I'm gonna do is figure out how not to pay
There
the
better not
tax.
be tax.
What we are learning, as presented by trustee Moore. Mr. Mutcher,
Yes.
Ms. Aspen,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes,
motion's approved.
and I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting until
So
next
moved.
time.
Second.
Adjourned at 6:54.
Yeah, just made it.